Hi all. Right, so we are progressing the headlamp bucket, or the shape of the headlamp bucket, should we say. And I generally just do that in clay because it's small enough area that I don't have to worry too much about filler and all that kind of stuff. It's much easier to use clay tools and to scrape off area clay with our lovely slicks. So before I get on to that, we are ready to pull the mold off the center sections of the new seat. So this is the new wider seat. We basically sanded through the grades, got rid of any little marks where it was where the extra wide 30mm space was put into the seat. This is actually a usable seat. I'll probably use this for the passenger side of this car because obviously it's white, so I'll just do white for this car. But now basically I have time to take mold of this. This has 8 coats of wax and is ready for the next stage. Unfortunately, UPS lost my bloody parcel again. So yet again, for the second time, I've ordered the black tooling gel coat and UPS have lost it. It always ends up when there's two boxes of stuff, because I actually ordered this time, I ordered some vinyl ester resin and gel coat. The box of the resin came, which I don't need straight away. The box of the gel coat, they lost. Yes, we'll go into that. So the seat's ready for the gel coat. Once it arrives, I've got 2 weeks off and no gel coat. Anyway, rear clip mold, stage 1's done. Now stage 2 is done. Obviously we've got some bolts through the one flange that is bolted together. Now it's to do basically the one wheel arch here. So, you know, the advantage of putting it on a bar is I can now tilt it up. A, it makes it a bit easier for me to kneel over. B, of course we don't have as much of a vertical overhang. This shouldn't be too bad. Now I've got to do the do some more of the plastic corrugated board and make my flanges and stuff here. It's got 8 coats of wax on this now, so that's the time I normally start doing that. So we're on stage 2, but yet again stalled. So right, on the car, on the front clip, you may remember yonks ago, before I put this reduced lip area here, which obviously is going to where the clear perspex cover will go, we took a mold of the outside surface of the car on the buck before we even got to reducing that stage down. So basically this is a mold that I will pull and I'll make the tooling for the clear perspex cover. I took a part out of there to make that flange and bolted it into the back, and that's how we made that flange in the buck. And now this obviously is a continuous part, seeing this is the production tooling. Now the headlamp bucket, should we call it itself, yet again I needed a surface that was pretty close to that, so I just pulled another piece out of here, so laminated another piece into there and made the shape is there and made it boltable in. So, you know, it's obviously it's not a perfect size, goes to the size, it's going to shrink a little bit as it goes down, but it was close enough to be good on the edges. So we look from the back, we now kind of have a area which is basically the shape of the outside. We want that bucket so it marries up to the inside of the body. So stage 1 was to pull fiberglass into there. Stage 2, make it marry up here nicely, mark it out, drill it, bolt it in. So once we have a boltable panel I can move in and out, then we need to make something that I can put the clay on. So from that stage, when we just had that curved panel, I put this, it looks very close to the stuff you see probably wife putting in the base of a flower arranging. It's kind of got that kind of very open consistency, but this stuff is styrene safe. I'm struggling to find some more of it, to be honest, because I kind of need them. But anyway, I put this and 2 layers of it into the back of that panel for the headlamp, and then put a layer of fiberglass over the top. So you can imagine this panel's now on the bench. So I basically added some of this foam and then basically laminated it on to that particular panel. So I can remove this whole section with the clay once it's done. So, because this obviously is this is the final clip that's going on the car. I'm just bolting it in because, well, it has the correct thickness of space here, whereas the buck that's over there would be too thick and would make too much of an offset. So this is the true thickness of the body. So we shouldn't scratch the body anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. So once I had that foam in there, I put that foam from the back, fiberglassed it so it don't come off, bolted the panel back in, cut the foam. So I've basically got enough of the stuff that I knew I was going to cut away. So basically most of the middle, make sure the outside edges drops at least an inch down, so we can put our slot for our daytime running lamps in. Once I've cut that foam that I knew far enough back that it wasn't going to interfere with anything, then I built it up with clay. So I used my trusted little toaster oven, which conveniently goes down to 150 Fahrenheit, because you want about sort of 140 to 160 to warm the clay up, just to make it nice and pliable. You can see I have to wear gloves because obviously you burn your hands if you don't. And then you bolster the clay and basically push it into that shape. And once you've done that, then it's time to use the clay tools. So from my other job, should we say, these are all my clay tools, my clay slicks. So basically use all of these to put the clay to the shape that you want. Now this is obviously a replication of a headlamp, or the outer shape. So this is a little bigger than that headlamp, so as long as I've got this clear all the way around, then that will fit in. So unfortunately I have a void here. I didn't compensate enough, so I've got to build that up, put some more clay in there, but that's where the main headlamp is going to sit. Ignore the tape. The tape at the moment is just to protect. As you build one surface up and clean it off, then you basically protect that surface by when you're doing the next one. So this is just used to protect it. So yeah, that's the main high beam, low beam lamp. And in here, I've still got to finish this section here. I'm not overly happy with that. The bottom section there will have this little projector lamp here, which will be a driving light, and it also doubles as a fog lamp. So so you can flick between. If you're on high beam, it'll be on driving lamp. If you flick to low beam, it'll turn it off. But if the fog lamp's on, it'll turn the fog lamp on for it. So that's the two light units. You don't really quite so much see the fact that it's kind of a rectangle shape, but what you will see is all the LED reflectors inside it. Once all of this is like a black carbon fiber, or is a black carbon fiber, we are going to have to build a pre-peg oven, because this is such a complex to a tiny shape. I've been told that pre-peg's just easier to do, so we are going to build a pre-peg oven a little bit sooner than I thought. We'll do these in pre-peg. Eventually the wheel arch vents that will sit in here, they'll be pre-peg as well, as will be most of the smaller parts. However big I build the oven, we'll soon see. I've been tempted to do the rear wing, but obviously that means I've got to do an oven that's sort of at least 2 meters wide, but makes things more complex. So yeah, so that's the stages to do that. So we start off with just pulling a piece of glass the same shape as the headlamp cover, trim and bolt it to here, make sure it's back. Foam at the back, fiberglass over the foam just to hold it, so it's obviously a styrene resistant foam. Once I've done that, cut the outer face off, dig out the foam where you know you're not going to want it, dig out it far enough back to put the clay in. Obviously occasionally you might go further than you thought, but then you just got to dig it out again, and put more clay into where you need it. So that's the right-hand headlamp started. Not what I want to be doing straight right at the moment, but that's kind of progress. Porsche stuff. Porsche stuff now is sold, so it's going to somewhere in the southern USA. I can't remember exactly where, but that's now gone. That hopefully should be gone in the next few weeks anyway. But the funds from that now I can throw at this, so I'm going to feel a little bit better off. it's really not a huge amount to buy. Wheels and tyres set for next year, or maybe the tail end of this year, depending how really good I move myself on. But a set of wheels and tyres, a set of tyres is going to be like 2,500 Canadian, and then need about 2,000 Canadian for a clutch and a flywheel, which are the last sort of big weird parts for the engine side. We'll eventually then have the seats trimmed, because I'm guessing they're going to be $500 or $600 each, but I've got that amount of money now. Now, whether I trim the dashboard up or not yet, I haven't made my mind up. If I do, then we'll have to have stitching in the V form that is the center part of the dash. But and obviously, yes, we're going to have to have the steering wheel trimmed. Ordered some nicer looking knobs for the rotaries. I kind of like those. We got the 3s at the moment, so green, which is the same as these, will be for the windscreen wiper. So single wipe, wash wipe, and then there'll be the levels of intermittent, slow and fast. Red's horn, blue is high beam, 2 black buttons. These are all programmable, so they can either be the lift system for the hydraulic pump at the front suspension, or we can use them cruise control. So we have yet to figure out which one. I can actually put a switch on there to make them do both. Yes, I could make a selectable, but I think cruise control for the moment. And then obviously red would be the boost level or traction control. And then we got another one for the center console, which will be like I say, either boost or traction control. So yeah, there we go. First headlamp section in. Those are the sequential daytime running or indicators. Oh, I've got it over here, so it's easier just to show you. So daytime running lamp's got a little sequence it does when it first starts up, but then that stays on. And then if you add the indicators, then you obviously get a sequential indicator. Remove the indicator, it waits a second or so, and then the daytime running comes back on again. Voila. So that'll be what's sitting basically in this groove here, and then the cable will disappear just out here and there. And this top corner here will have a little vent in here, basically just a suck, and then we'll have a small vent area at the bottom here that we are going to pipe and route to a reasonably high pressure area, but nothing that's too wet. So probably going to pump it into the back here somewhere. It doesn't matter too much, because on the vent we're going to put here, we'll have a waterproof tiny little fan. It's only like about a 1-inch tiny fan. We'll put that in there, and basically it'll pull some cool air across the lens, so we won't get any fogging of the lens. But I've got a waterproof 12-volt fan for that. So but yeah, we need to sort of migrate some air. You could push air in here and hope it comes out the top, but to be honest, you're better off to pull it from the top, so the warm air is naturally going to want to come to the top anyway. So pull it from here, and then we'll route a pipe from this somewhere to where it should be more cooler fresh air coming in, but obviously with a at least a kind of a Z trap for any water. So yes, Porsche gone, seat ready, thing ready, waiting for my UPS delivery. Annoying as hell, but there you go. Such is life, can't do anything about it. Speak to you all soon.